Hello, today we're going to work on a piece that is just a lot of leafy layers. And you can do this in any color you want. I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to do like a greenish teal. So I'm going to do something maybe in this color. So I'm going to start with mixing my colors. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in here first. The first layer that we do is going to be very, very light, very, very translucent. So you want a very watered down color. So this is just a mixture of green and blue. And I'm going to bring it over here. I have it from a previous project I did. But I'm going to bring it over here and just really water it down because I want this to be a very, very light color. When I put it on the paper, I almost want it to be translucent. I want to barely know that it's there. All right, and I'm making a lot of it because we'll be mixing back into this later. So I'm making a lot of a very light color. So this is a little bit of green. And a little bit of blue. Maybe a little bit more blue than that. There we go. So a little bit of green, a little bit of blue. I love the aqua, so I use it a lot. All right, so now we're just gonna make some leafy branches. So you can start from the bottom, you can start from the top, and you're just gonna make a branch. You can come back and put a little more paint into it. So I'm just gonna make like a lot of branches. And they're just kind of going all over. There's a hair on my painting. All right. And these are just very loose, branchy shapes. They don't have to all be the same size, going the same direction. They can be all pointing a different direction. And then you can decide what shape you would like your leaves to be. I think my leaves this time are gonna be, let's see, my leaves are going to be round. So I'm just going to put round leaves coming off of each of these. So I'm going to give it a little stem and a round leaf. Stem and a round leaf. And these can get bigger as you go toward the bottom of your branch, or they can stay the same. Round leaf. I am loving the lightness of this color. All right, and then over here, stem, round leaf. So these are just very loose, very easy. Stem, round leaf, and that's going to overlap that one. Does not matter. It's super okay. So stem and round leaf. This is just a lot of fun, repetitive pattern drawing in this one. So stem and round leaf. And then I have another little room over here for one. Stem and round leaf. I just paint right over that tape. All right, so now I'm gonna start this one. So we have round leaf at the top. And then stems and a round little leaf. Stem and a round leaf. So this should be like very, very light. Very, very pastel. So we definitely want it drying nice and light like we see here. It's working just perfectly. All right, stem, stem, round leaf, and a round leaf. Stem, stem, leaf, leaf. And it doesn't matter if they overlap like they're doing here, that's absolutely fine. So I have my one little stem left here that needs some leaves on it. So stem, stem, and a little round leaf. These aren't perfect, if they're messy, give yourself permission to just be not perfect and messy. It's gonna turn out fine. I just want you to enjoy painting these little shapes. Your leaves can be any shape that you would like them to be. They don't have to be round. They could be heart-shaped, they could be kind of spear-shaped, they could be palm leaves. That all works with this one. All right, and then maybe we have a little leaf coming in right here. I think I'm just gonna add it for good times. So when we're using watercolor, sometimes you might be tempted to add white to make a color lighter, but I would encourage you to just use water and let the water make that color lighter. All right, so this is layer number 1. It's great the way it is. We're gonna blow it dry because this needs to be completely dry before we do the next step. And I'm just using the cool setting on my little dryer here. All right, so this is layer 1. I know that it doesn't look like much yet, but that's okay. We're gonna make it great. Next, I'm gonna take those same 2 colors that I used to make that original kind of aqua, and I am gonna mix them together here. So that was just blue and then green. So I am taking those 2 and mixing them together in the lid of my paint palette. whatever works for you. Some people have a palette that is specifically for mixing. That's great too. You can use that. All right, here we go. So I want to try and mix enough paint to make sort of the same amount of little branches that I made the first time. So I'm going to go ahead and try to mix kind of a lot of paint. And it doesn't matter if the shade matches very, very specifically. It can be a little bit different and it'll still, the project will still turn out well. I am just looking for a nice blue-green here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and paint some more of the same shape over top, but not directly over top, kind of in like in another layer. So I'm going to make one, like I'll make one right here. That'll be one. This will be one. We'll sort of do them like this. This will be my first one. And I'm going to come and make that cute little round leaf right at the end. And then do my stem, stem, leaf, leaf action. So I just want to make sure I'm filling these all in with a good amount of paint. Just continuing to draw the same little shapes. So stem, stem, leaf, leaf. It's kind of round. I think I'm gonna bring it out just a little bit. All right, one down, just a few to go. So this one's gonna have a nice little round leaf at the end of it. You can see these are a little bit darker than the first one, so they're drying a little darker. It's exactly what we want. This one's drying weird, so I'm gonna go back over it. All right, stem, stem. A little bit wonky. Oh well, we're not going to worry about it. Okay, stem, stem, leaf, leaf, this one. This leaf is going off the page. That's all right. All right, so let's work on this one here. Stem, stem, leaf, leaf. Stem, stem, leaf, leaf. And stem, leaf. I don't know if we're gonna be able to fit one over here. Let's see. We'll just have a little tiny one. All right, looking good. So let's put some on that one there. So I'll start with the very top. Cute little leaf. If you mess up on an edge, you can always just make that leaf a little bit bigger, right? So stem, stem, leaf. And a leaf over here. Stem set. And the accompanying leaves. Maybe one more over here. Alright, so I'm seeing maybe I need a little more over here. So I'm going to bring up one that goes this way. So I'll put my little leaf at the top. That's what we needed, just a little more of the second color here in this area. Alright, stem, stem, leaf, leaf. And stem, stem, leaf. And another leaf over here. It's running off the page. Stem and leaf. All right, so then maybe one more over here. All right. we can just pretend like it keeps going down here and add one more little leaf. All right, so this is layer 1 and 2. It's looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and dry it. All right, so that's dry. Our last step is going to be very, very dark. So we are gonna mix a similar color to what we mixed before, but we're gonna add a bit of black to it. We want this to be a very opaque watercolor. Not gummy, not sticky, but pretty dark. Pretty dark. So because I know I'll need, again, kind of a lot of this, I'm gonna add a lot of water. Try and sweep all this paint off into the trough. But I know I'll need a great deal of this because it's gonna be a little thicker. So I'm gonna mix several drops of it. And then I'll bring in my green. We want that same, kind of the same tone as before. And you don't have to do it this way. You can always do it with different colors in each layer, but for the purpose of mine today, I'm gonna do the same color, just going from very translucent to very dark. Ah, okay. I just wanna get a lot of this blue and green in here so we have a good, thick color. I love this color. It's my favorite color. I always run out of blues and greens in my paint sets first. I'm always left with a lot of brown and orange because those tend to be colors that I don't use as much. All right, maybe a little more blue. There we go. And then I'm gonna add some black because I want this to really darken up. But when you add black, you have to add a little bitty bit of black at a time. If you add too much, it will very quickly just become black. So I'm gonna go into black. I'm just gonna add a little at a time. I wanna really get this mixed up. You can see it's kind of turning a very dark teal color. I like it, it's very pretty. I am gonna add a little bit more black though. So it's still teal, but it's got that dark, dark color in it. All right. We are gonna see where this takes us, my friends. And before you do this, like the last time, we wanna make sure that everything here is completely dry. So go ahead and touch it, make sure everything's dry. And my very first piece, it's gonna come straight up here. So see, that needs to be, I think it still needs to be darker. So I'm gonna add more of the blue and the black in here. Because it definitely needs to be darker. I almost want this to be like a navy, but teal. Let's see. Add a little more blue to it. Now it just looks like swampy soup. That's all right. So this is your layer where it's okay to be kind of thick with your paint. Because we want this to be our darkest layer. And we want these edges to be nice and hard. And if you find that it's going on too translucent, put some more pigment in there. We're gonna do the same thing. So branch, branch, and then leaf, leaf, leaf. And I really just want a lot of pigment in here. I'm gonna push that pigment out to the edges. This layer should be very, very dark, as you can see. So we're just doing the same thing we did in the previous layers. Just making those little stems and leaves. And I'm repeating the same shape and the same general color as I used before. But if you want to try something different, you absolutely can. This is just a lot of repetition and layering. I'm getting this last layer nice and dark and kind of evenly distributed. Sometimes it'll start, the paper warps just a little bit and that paint starts settling in the little ripples of the paper. You can continue to move it around as it dries, kind of distribute it across your whole entire, in this case, leaves. The darker colors might take a little more nuancing. Alright, so I'm going to add one coming from over here. really want this stem to be nice and dark. So often you'll hear me telling you that I want your watercolor to be a very light wash. We don't want it to be dark and heavy, but this is an exception to that. This is a different technique that we are working on here. We want the differentiation between these layers, for sure. All right. So there's our first one. Stem, stem, leaf. Stem, stem, leaf. And I'm adding a little more paint to some of these leaves that I feel are maybe drying a little bit too light. Just kind of making sure that it gets to the edges. Alright, so now we just kind of have to figure out where we want more of the dark leaves. So I'll add another little piece coming up here. And again, I'm just kind of trying to get this paint out of these little wells that it likes to make when the paper warps. You don't have to do this, but it's one of those things I enjoy doing. I like to spread that pigment around. It looks like we have another little area here where we can put one. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but my dog is snoring so hard. She is so tired from having woken up today. All right, so we have one more little area here that needs some darkness to it. And I'm trying to decide, do I want a branch coming up or down? And I think that I want my branch coming down. I think that'll do. This is going to be, I think, probably my last branch. Because, first of all, I'm running out of paint. But also, I'm running out of room. Coming to terms with the reality that I may need to mix a little more paint, but that's okay. I know the colors I used, so I should be able to match it all right. Let's see, we would have a little part of a leaf over here. Maybe I can get away with not mixing more paint. Let's see. See how good my brush will be at sucking up the little corners of that paint pan. All right. Maybe I can do it. We'll see. Able to do it, y'all. All right, because we would have one more leaf here. All right, I think I did it. Well, I'm going to put just a tiny bit of water because I see another place I need another leaf right here. All right, so I think that's it. So now I'm gonna dry it and I'm gonna come back when it's completely dry and we're gonna pull this tape. You know, I was thinking about it, and I think I want to put some speckles on here. Speckles are where we just like water down a color and flick it all over the place. And I'm going to do speckles in red. Now, this is absolutely an optional step. If you're afraid to mess up with what you've got, or you just don't like speckles, then you don't have to do this part. But because some people enjoy these spectacularly messy speckles, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I just feel like it gives a piece a little more interest, just makes it a little more fun. So the way we speckle is, you know, maybe brown. Brown would go nicely. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a reddish brown. So I'm gonna do like reddish brown speckles. Oh, sorry, brown. I got a little red in you. All right, that's just the way it's gonna be for brown today. All right, so my brush is pretty loaded, and I need to tap my brush on something hard. It doesn't work if you tap on your hand as well. And then we just get fantastic little filler speckles. So I've got some of the reddish brown and some just brown. You can stop anytime you want with your speckles. I just like a lot of them, so I'm putting a lot on. I think I may also add a little bit of yellow speckle. I like to speckle with kind of the opposite of the colors that I've used in the main piece. I think that gives it a little bit of contrast and makes it more interesting. And you may hate speckles, you may not like them, so you absolutely don't have to do them. All right, I'm gonna let those dry and I'll be back for the big reveal. All right, I'm back. It's all dry and I am ready to remove this tape. So I'm gonna start at the top here. Ah! All right, so if you ever tear like that, start ripping from the other way. And sometimes you can recover. There we go. See, like that little piece now it'll be there, and I can just glue it down later. All right, goodbye tape. Let's see about down here. I got a little too excited there. I was kind of pulling my tape really, really quickly and ripped my paper. It happens to the best of us. All right, so let's see about this. I'm gonna be careful. Oh, a little bit of a security breach over here on this edge. That's okay. Ah! The dark paint just got up under that tape, didn't it? All right. Did it over here too. So there is my finished piece, and I'm gonna go ahead and sign my name on it. I have to decide, do I want it to go this way? This way? Yeah, I like it this way. All right. There we go. So there is our finished piece. And something else I might do is kind of spray over this with a sealer, and then use some acrylic pens to go over it and add some texture to these, to the last layer of leaves. So that's an option too. You don't have to stop here.